Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davo from Esports, bringing you another 1v1 StarCraft 2 cast today. Today, our map is Tal'Darim Altar, and in the bottom right-hand side, we have none other than roxkisTITAN. Excellent, who is a very good player indeed. He's quite up and coming, actually. He considers PvT to be his best matchup, and he is Russian. He is 22, and actually, he was at the top of the European servers a little while back. In the top right-hand corner, we have Judge, who is our blue Terran, who is also from the European area. So both these players are in high masters on the European servers at the moment. But seeing as Titan considers PvP his best matchup, we'll see what happens in the game. Excellent. Obviously, being Tal'Darim Altar, this watchtower in particular is going to be very, very important to both of our players at the moment because, of course, the right-hand side of the map is largely where most of the action is going to take place within the first, let's say, the first 15 minutes in Blizzard seconds, at least, of the game. Generally speaking, anyway, unless our Judge player does a hell of a lot of drops or anything like that. By the way, if Judge finds this video or Titan finds this video, that's always nice. I have actually been contacted a few times by players who I have casted, because I generally don't contact the players before I cast them. I figure that because they play StarCraft at such a high level, they don't particularly mind, and I'm not rude about them and all that good stuff. I'm quite nice when you get to know me, or at least that is the idea. So we do have Judge going for a pretty unusual fast expansion here. Quite a lot of Protoss would jump at this and really go for a very quick 4-gate, or maybe even a Zealot push with 2 gateways, but unfortunately Titan hasn't actually been doing any scouting whatsoever. As you can see that when I put it on Titan's view, Judge just simply does not actually appear. Okay, awesome. And of course we have Judge making a lot of supply depots and all that good stuff, and finally making a barracks, allowing himself to defend himself and his fairly precarious command center. I would be surprised if we didn't see a bunker around this area anytime soon, seeing as, generally speaking, because there is a Zealot on the way from Titan, that might be a very, very good idea indeed. Titan also taking a very, very early Nexus too. I don't know if Titan is... I don't know. I don't want to say if Titan is stream cheating or anything. I don't... You know, obviously that's really bad. You should never ever stream cheat. But I have to wonder why he's so comfortable putting down that Nexus with only one Zealot like that. I don't know. It's... with no cannons to cover it or anything like that. If the Terran was to do a 6-minute push or a 5-minute push, it would be pretty devastating. Or any bunker harass for that matter. And there is the bunker that I was talking about earlier that we're probably going to see going up. The micro hit from Judge needs to be fairly fantastic in order to stop this Marine being turned into absolute mincemeat by these Zealots side blades. It does look like the SCVs are also going to get involved and try and do a little bit of damage. As well, but it does look like the Marine is promptly going to be getting into the bunker as soon as that's finished, but it won't get finished too quickly, seeing as the SCV has just been completely smoked by that Zealot, and it does look like the Zealot is actually dead now. Hooray. Well, not dead, he has gone back to Ire in a puff of smoke, which is really cool. I like how many Marines it takes to take down one solitary Zealot who is running around and doing so much trouble. I'm not sure how effective this is going to be now. The tiny Stalker push that is coming from Titan, as Judge does have 3 Marines in a bunker ready to blow up anything that looks remotely like a Protoss unit pretty quickly. We also have a sentry here as well. Of course, Titan will know if Judge moves out, because he does have this Stalker here. Stalkers are very, very fast and have the ability to run away from things such as Marines quite easily. So, generally speaking, it should be okay. The Stalker here is actually just got aggroed by that SCV that put down the bunker, and almost losing its life. Well, I say almost losing its life. It has lost all of its shields and a little bit of HP as well, but here we do have the shields coming back, which of course is very useful for Protoss units. The fact they have shields is quite nice. I would love to have shields as a human, because that way if I stub my toe when I'm getting myself some Weetabix in the morning, then it wouldn't hurt too bad, or at least if it did, then You know, I wouldn't break my toe. I don't know, I'm talking absolute rubbish. Ignore me. Ignore me. Okay, so we do have 4 barracks on the way. That does indicate that Judge is actually probably going to be going for a pretty bio-orientated build at the moment, at least. Which is pretty cool by me. It's a very, very effective build to go against Protoss. And we do have a pretty surprising 3rd base on the way from Judge as well, which I really like the decision of. Actually, I really think this is a very cunning idea. And I always love it when I see players trying new things, because it's always very, very boring. If they, for example, if Titan was just a 4-gate, you know, it's Protoss in lower level leagues 4-gate all the time, you know, and it is just ridiculous. For example, that's just one example, you know, stuff like that. Basically, like 4-gate's an incredibly common build, and if that happened all the time, it would be boring. Same for Judge. He is not being boring. He has actually expanded 3 times within 8 minutes, which is impeccably fast. I like that word. It reminds me of birds, because it's got the word peck in it. Impeccably fast for Terran. And of course, it gives Titan plenty to worry about, even though I don't think he's scouted it yet, as it is an orbital command as well, and that will give Judge extra mineral mining capacity, as he will have an extra mule as well. It does look like Judge will be working on getting some Marauders out as well. Marauders are a very, very strong anti-Protoss unit, very strong indeed, and possibly getting some Hellions out, or no, he's probably going to do a switch. So when the starport finishes building, he'll lift that off, lift the factory off, and put the starport where the reactor used to be. And I dare say, I'm gonna take a guess here and say that he is actually going to go for some No, of course he's not. Medvacs or Vikings. Quite a lot of Terran players do like to presume that their Protoss opponents are going for Colossi, and of course you don't blame them. For example, in this situation, it does actually look like Titan is going for Colossi, as he is building one. Production menu, excellent. He does have a robotics bay, of course, which is very critical for building Colossus in the first place. But lately there has been a slight transition to how much Protoss players like to use High Templar and their Psystorm ability instead of Colossus. It is actually kind of surprising how often you will see a Terran literally just get Vikings straight away. Because, like this, I mean, I'm not actually even sure if he's scouted his opponent's robotics bay, which he has, which is fair. He's probably scanned it, so that's good times. But again, in quite a lot of the lower leagues, which this is not the lower leagues, by the way, you will see quite a lot of preemptive Vikings. Of course, Colossus are very, very damaging to Terran armies, as Marines are light and biological units. And basically, Colossus do a hell of a lot of damage against that with their amazing kind of laser beam ability. They're a bit like the tripod walker thingies from War of the Worlds, apart from they have 4 legs, not 3. So basically, all it takes is Tom Cruise and some grenades to take down a Colossus effectively. But Tom Cruise and grenades do not exist in the StarCraft universe as yet. Maybe in Heart of the Swarm we'll see like a armoured Tom Cruise Marine. I doubt it, but you know, obviously I'm just playing around. But that would be very entertaining. Indeed. He'd have special ability, jump on sofa. Yeah. Okay, so that's Stalker using his amazing ability of massive amounts of speed to leg it away from the Terran army, as he could see it coming with the Zelnaga watchtower. The Observer also being invisible, just tracking the Terran army around the map for now, but deciding that he's going to leg it. And look how fast the Observer is with upgrades. You don't actually often see Protoss players get the Observer upgrade that gives them more speed. It's actually used so little, I'm not sure what it's called exactly. It does look like this Terran army might be winning the game right about now. For Judge, seeing as it has actually scooted straight round, is attacking the Nexus straight away. Quite a lot of these Vikings are getting completely destroyed. Okay, so now we do have a Colossus on the field running around that is going to be threatening Titan quite a lot, but some fairly decent micro means that Judge might just be able to leave Titan's base without any more bloodshed from the Marine and Marauders' point of view. And he did also take down the Nexus pretty quickly, which leaves Titan on 2 base instead of 4 like his opponent, because Judge is actually just finishing off his 4th base right about now, and that is a monstrous amount of macro to be having, especially for a Terran player at 14 minutes into the game roughly. That was pretty nice. It was a pretty well controlled attack. I mean, Judge, didn't actually really do too much damage to Titan's army, but of course he did do a relatively large amount of economic damage. Destroying a Nexus is a biggie, but really it would actually take a little bit longer to rebuild the probes rather than the Nexus. So I mean, it is a big deal, but at the same time, it could be considered not so crazy a big deal. And that observer there must be getting kind of dizzy with the speed upgrade, going back and forth and back and forth. Titan still having absolutely no idea that this expansion is here, and that is probably going towards the effect of what is actually going on here in this game so far. It's very interesting to note that Titan doesn't actually know that that expansion is there at all. So he is actually just getting his expansion up now in that third position as Judge gets his out. And this has been scouted by Titan. But this has been here for about 7 minutes now. And, I mean, generally speaking, with mules as well, that can really, really mess stuff up for Titan, because the Terran opponent will have a hell of a lot of macro on the field. We have weapons +3 and armor +3 coming for Titan now. He has actually got a double forge on the way, so upgrades are of course very, very important to him at this point in time. We have another Colossus on the way, going massively Colossus orientated play. Not so many High Templar this time, but that is absolutely fine. I don't really think Judge has enough Vikings to counter this many Colossus too effectively. He will have to be pretty damn careful. That much is strikingly clear. We have the trademark Terran Scouting Factory right about now. I definitely think that the people who work in the Scouting Factory should have some sort of union, as it is fairly unfair that they just get to fly around all day. And we do have the Protoss army pretty much destroying that Terran one pretty nice and quickly. These Colossus need to watch their positioning a little bit though. If that Stalkers didn't blink forward like that, then the Colossus would have been left alone with no core units, which can be a fairly difficult situation for Protoss players to end up in. But it does look like Titan might be doing some sort of push right now as well. I think that maybe actually he's perhaps just flat out won the game. I would be thinking the same thing if I was him. We do have Titan really hurting quite a lot of his opponents in mineral line right now. This is looking extremely bleak indeed for Judge, and it just goes to show really, you can have whatever you like in the ways of hidden expansions, but I mean, if your production isn't quite up to par, or I mean, if your micro isn't up to par, then you can really die quite quickly. Another thing that dies quite quickly is SCVs going up against the laser beams that are Colossus, and it does look like Judge will have to be tapping out right about now, because it does look like this could be the end of the game for him, as we do have more units coming in, being warped in by this pylon from Titan as well. It thoroughly looks like this game is in his hands. These Vikings will be shooting down the Colossus, but with some fancy blink micro from these Stalkers here, the Vikings will go down pretty quickly. They're blinking away from the Marauders missiles, just so you know, just so I'm not sounding absolutely crazy. But I mean, there isn't actually that much difference in supply. Well, there is. There's about 60 difference. There's exactly 60 difference in supply right now. I think, actually, in a minute we'll have a look and see how many gateways Titan actually has at the end there as well. Just for lols. But I mean, we do have Marauders coming out as well, which are actually very good against Colossus, because they are slightly tougher than Marines. They are, I mean, they're armoured biological, I believe. They're not armoured light, I think. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Fucking OP race, retard, noob. Oh no. Ooh, ouch. Ooh, dear oh dear, some nasty words from Judge right there. That's gotta hurt. And the funny thing is, Titan was expanding here, while his opponent had already had a base here for about 10 minutes. Oh dear. Okay, so you can't really effectively call somebody who, you know, Titan is not a bad player. He's definitely not a noob or a retard. It's fairly unfair to say that, to be honest to him. You'd expect BM to go somewhere else, but hey, quite a lot of people do like to BM, especially when they lose. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching. Have a nice day, and I hope I will see you guys next time. Enjoy playing StarCraft, and goodbye.